Time for Headline Makers at 6:41, and joining us today, the journalist and author Susan Holder and the broadcaster Pete Price.
Morning, both.
Good to see you this morning. Before we have a chat, let's have a look at the front pages.
Well, the Daily Telegraph leads with the UK and US joining forces against the Iranian-backed Houthi movement in Yemen.
Britain and US unite, says the Express.
The Times also leads on Western allies and last night's strikes in Yemen.
The Mail has the post office scandal with the headline, "Grit your teeth and keep prosecuting."
And finally, so proud of you, says the Mirror, leading on Prince William's tribute to rugby heroes Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield, giving them a gong. They got a
the CBEs, yes. Pete Price then and Susan Holder are here. And let's start with the Houthi rebels and these strikes that have been carried out late last night and overnight, Pete.
Yep, US and the UK forces have carried out the strikes against the Houthi rebels targeting in Yemen. President Biden says that the strikes are in response to the attack by the Iranian-backed Houthis on the ship in the Red Sea. What is the big problem on this is completely and utterly an awful lot of people right now haven't a clue what's going on. You know, an awful lot of the public really don't know what's going on. They see one organisation, this organised, and it's all about Palestine and it's all about Israel. It's not. These people have wanted to attack us for so long. They hate the West. They don't know what their ideology is because they hate the West, but they just want to try and destroy what we've got. And they've got these groups of fanatical madmen because they come over as madmen and they're being run, we think, by Iran. And it's just a complete mess, but we're away from it, so we don't feel it as much, but it's starting to affect us now. Or am I wrong?
Last night's action, I think, will come as a surprise to a lot of people because they didn't sort of know this was brewing so dangerous.
And yet it has been going on for quite a long while, that these attacks, and what people, as well, the impact they might realise is things that can't get through because the Red Sea Suez Canal route that's where the attacks are happening is used by 12% of the world's maritime traffic. That's an awful lot, and if all that gets disrupted, which it is, things are already being cancelled, things are already having to use other routes. Those kind of things are things that people will notice.
And it's piracy.
I'll just say Archie's been in touch, who says we have to stop the attacks. If we don't, all the prices in the shops plus the cost to heat our homes will continue to go up.
And it's piracy on the ships. It's complete piracy. And to me, they should be wiped out. There's no argument. Just wipe them out.
But
you can't just wipe them out. That's the trouble, isn't it? It's not that simple, is it? I mean, clearly, the strikes that we engaged in last night will have hit civilians as well. There's no doubt about that, isn't there? There was always collateral damage. So it's not that easy.
But at the same time, you can't sit back and do nothing. They've said that, retaliation is inevitable because otherwise you're just letting things get out of hand, and with no, you have to stand up to that sort of thing, don't you?
Well, it's what we see in retaliation from them now, which is going to be something.
It is, and it's terrifying.
Let's have a look at the Telegraph and the Post Office, Susan.
Yes. It rumbles on.
This gets deeper every day.
And your outrage gets
It does, and I think obviously the public inquiry is going on, and Post Office investigators have been branded as though they were acting like mafia gangsters in the public inquiry. One of the victims, Jacqueline MacDonald, actually coined the phrase, and I think quite a lot of people kind of understand where she's coming from. It seems that what's happened this week, obviously, is the ITV drama, because this has been going on for years. I've heard about the story for years, but that the ability of that drama to personalise the story and bring us all up to speed on it and realise the human cost of this to so many innocent people has been spectacular. There's a clip from the drama now.
But that's the issue with it. So it's been going on for a very long time.
It has.
I mean, the public inquiry has been going on for a long while, and yet it's only when we actually see it as individual cases rather than an overall story.
Doesn't it tell you how important a drama like that is to a documentary? It shows such a different side. But I agree with what Anne says, completely agree with what Anne says. Why didn't the Post Office look and say, hang on, these people have been running our post offices for so long, and now all of them are robbing, all of them together? It's common sense.
No.
Common sense.
Well, they weren't joining the dots, but I do think that the next time somebody kind of extols the virtues of computers and science, everything else, and government ministers denigrate the arts, just look what the power of the arts can do with a director and a writer and actors who can bring that story to life and actually focus attention, which is what's now happening on the public inquiry.
Well, yeah, but the whole computer side thing, I just sort of think it's well, you know, these things can go wrong, and they do, but when they go wrong, it should be acknowledged that they go wrong. And what the issue with this seems to be that they knew there was an issue with the system.
And trying to save face and trying to cover themselves.
And the issue is about money, completely money. This man who's on the front cover of Everywhere,
Stephen Bradshaw,
he shows no compassion, no feeling, no emotion. If he wanted to win the public over in any shape or form, show something. He shows nothing.
Well, they're so scared of their own reputations. But executives and investigators who were being handed bonuses for convicting innocent sub-postmasters. So their motivation was not honourable, was it? Their motivation was money themselves. It's just absolutely... It gets worse and worse. And just thank goodness now everybody seems to be going in the right direction of trying to get some sort of compensation sorted quickly. But more importantly, as well, on top of that, is we need justice and we need somebody to be held to account for this.
I did also. There's a. Oh, I'll hold that point.
Okay.
And we'll come back to you two in just a moment.